I'm Bruce Eien, Brethren Christian High School, and I'm going to talk about adding the passing game to single wing. Just a little history on us. We're a 4 wide receiver shotgun team. What Harold's calling with the college. We run what the colleges run. And it's technically single wing, but I'm going to show you how you can run all the passing stuff we run on 4 wides out of a compressed formation. And basically what we do is we pass the ball, we have a few runs, and we use the single wing as our run game. We pretty much, I would say, probably it's almost a third of our offense. When we're going to run the single wing. And we have some play action out of it, but it's also our backup offense. If our quarterback goes down, we can't pass. We have one kid that can pass, and that's it. And I have a bunch of receivers then, but nobody to give him the ball. And so the single wing is our backup offense. And it's practiced that way, and usually the guy who's the running back isn't a starter somewhere else, and that's his baby. And he's the guy, and he's known as the fat back, and he's getting the ball, and that's his big thing, and he practices that. And so what I'm going to show you is if we had to go to the single wing the whole way, because our best quarterback is, we would still run some of the passing concepts we have with somebody who, we got a couple guys that can throw the ball, but they're not going to be able to, run an offense passing the ball that way. One thing I want to show you is some technology. One of the single wing things that downloaded, you can put on an iPod, put your home playbook. The new ones now have video, and you could actually put your game tapes on here. Or any like that show on NBC, My Name is Earl. So I just loaded all those on there. And I messed up. I had it on here, but then when I put these on, it came off. But you can, your kids have these, and they know how to do it. They're just certain programs, and you put it in there. You can put on game tapes. You can put cut-ups. Put your playbook. And they can listen to the music and go back and read the playbook. And they're always trying to do something besides classwork when they're in class. And they've all got iPods.
How much is it?
This is a 60 gig iPod, the video iPod.
And what do they run?
This is $400. And but the PSPs, the game ones they have, they can hold that too. But the format that it goes in is a movie format, so the file's really not that big. Like the I'm Earl thing here, which is probably about 20 minutes of video, is only 175 megabytes. So with 60 gig, you see how much you can get in that. What I handed you here is just what I'm going to show you on the thing. I'm a better door than a window, so I like to actually not talk from up front, but I'll talk from back here and show everything on the screen. The old days when you had to write on the whiteboard, I got in the way of it. So, I want to show you this first. This is one of my favorite things about the single wing. This is our JV team here, and they just got an interception. We're beating this team decently, and that's our tailback there, and he's a freshman. Hard runner, get down. New OC's kids are freshmen, and most of them have never played football before. Well, we have a 4'11", 75-pound kid. And we put him in at tailback. And made this kid season, so he'd be like your minimum play at the league. And actually, he's not much bigger than some of your mighty mites here. 4'11", 75 pounds.
Back here?
Yeah.
29?
Yeah, right here. 4'11", 75 pounds, freshman. And this made his season. They put him in, and the thing I like about it is he gets to score a touchdown, but, he caught the ball, and he knew what to do, he called the set. One play here, they run it again. He squeezes in, scores a touchdown, team goes crazy. They're going to pick him up and carry him off the sideline. Because, and even on a JV level, he's very small, and it made the kids day. All right, single wing pass. We start off with play action passes, and these are actually ones we run. This is like a blast pass. and be like a tight end pop out of the veer. Catches the ball, and this is all predicated on him being able to throw. So if you don't have a thrower, I'll talk about that later, what some things you can do. But this kid can throw, you know, and actually the vertical pass throwing right down the middle of the field is actually the easiest pass to throw. It's just playing catch. So he catches the ball, takes a step up like he's running the blast play, and then he throws from the right to the left. And usually, if they have one safety, he can't cover both of them. This is just a basic vertical play, a horizontal stretch on the safety, and you know, you tell them from 1 to 2. And what we do with our basic read with our quarterbacks, we tell him look the safety to number 1 and then throw to number 2. And he throws to number 1. If number 1's open, you'll see this on all the plays. If number 1's open, they throw to him right now. So this would be like a pop pass.
Where does he receive it at?
He usually catches it about right there,
10 yards.
about 10 yards.
15 from the corner.
Yeah, about 10 yards. Because if there's a backer here at 5 and he sees it and bumps him, they usually collide till about 9, and then he usually clears coverage about 10. Right, and if he takes a good 1-2 step up and then set up, it usually times up pretty good. Next one's the power pass. Now the reason, normally we should look for this flat route first, but we look for this one first because a lot of times this is the one where the safety comes up to stop the power play, and this is the one where the guy's wide open. And so if this one's going to be open, it's going to stay open the whole time, so it's easier to come back to that than it is to look at this and then throw this one later. So we're looking at this one because even though, you know, I got it throwing down here 20 yards, he's beating the guy here at usually about 6 or 7. So when he breaks, he usually hits him about right there. And this looks just like, and this is our base play as a power, and we throw. So you know, we call it power pass, we call it wide corner, you know, different stuff like that. Later on, we have some different variations of this that we use as part of our crossing game. If we want to call a bomb, we know what safety's jumping this. We'll call bomb. That all bomb means is that it's going to that guy the whole way, and it's predetermined who the bomb is. So this would be our X, so we would say power pass X bomb, and he's just basically he's going to look the safety over here and then hit this guy across the middle.
What do you do with your backside, with the backside defensive end, with the tight end releasing? What do you do with that defensive end?
I have them pass blocking just straight ahead, but our normal pass block is a turn protection left, so it fits right into our normal pass protection. This is a sweep pass. This is probably one of our big plays that we run normally out of trips, and it's just we call it roll right, and so we call it sweep pass out of this. And the wing just gets upfield, runs a 10-yard out. Guy runs this corner, and then the quarterback runs the sweep. He wants to throw the out right now. He has the corner. If the corner jumps to number 1, if the corner comes up and jumps this, he has that. And then he also still has the option to run the ball. So he's kind of got 3 options. That's pretty much for the tailback. Then we got out of the fullback. We had a half spin thing where we would run all our plays to the tailback with the fullback doing a half spin and handing off. And basically, the only reason we really did this is, I mean, it's almost like the buck lateral series, but we just wanted this bootleg. It was the only way we could actually get a bootleg, so we called it a spin bootleg. And then this play right here, this weak side flood, is one of our big plays that we run out of trips. We put trips to one side and then come back across. And then same thing, and you can pull linemen or not, it just depends on how it is. Usually this type of move here, this end comes upfield. Learn this from the wing T guys. After you fake, you gotta go 1, 2, 3 deep. And I was like, oh, you're just letting him give the guy more room to see. But what happens is that his angle is he comes flat, and that depth allows him to get outside of that, where if he was coming tight, they would meet quicker. So the depth is huge. He has to get 1, 2, 3, and he needs to be almost 9 yards deep when he boots. And then that allows him to get outside. Because it's usually what happens is it's just him and the defensive end are the only ones who know what's going on. And so he needs to get depth and get up. And you'll see later on the film, I'll show it. He didn't get depth and he got tackled. Okay, crossing game, this is our big thing. Steve Goddardson, we used to play them in the passing league, and they, you know, they're Division I, we're Division, I mean, they're Division III, we're Division 13, and he's got athletes that I don't have, and they would come up and just, he'd bump and run and just beat the crap out of us. And, you know, we didn't have, so it came down to the point, if they had better athletes, we couldn't run. And that's about the time Hal Mundy and all them came out with their crossing stuff down at Texas Tech, and, you know, the mesh, and so we went to that, and that actually allowed us to even up the odds of a better, what lesser athlete gets a better athlete, is we could cross. And so, you know, kind of like, remember in the old, probably about 15 years ago, Princeton basketball would run that trapping thing, and they would just, all of a sudden they're in the quarterfinals playing somebody they shouldn't be playing, because they were running all this trapping stuff, because they didn't know how to get off the trap. And so we just crossed, and we'll cross all day, and we ran this stuff against every major Division I team out here, and you just, I mean, they're just, they don't know what's going on.
Do your defenses typically man or zone or?
It's made for against man, but it works against zone too. If they want to go man, because the first thing is this guy right here, I know Harold's guy right there is a stud, so he doesn't want to drop off and cover, but he wants to knock the crap out of somebody. And so that's fine. So this guy right here knows his job is to make him either get himself knocked out, or get in his way, or do something, because this guy's coming underneath. And so he'll run to him. You know, just say, hey, he'll engage the guy because he will take him on. And all we're trying to do is sucker him to get underneath. And other plays we run where we're trying to get behind him. So basically, this is still the same wide corner power pass that we ran, same type of thing, but now we've added a crosser here to give us another thing. So he's going to drop back, and his first read is looking at this. He's reading the corner. He's seeing if there's nobody out here, he knows the play's going to work. That's the first thing he looks. If there's nobody out there, so either, you know, they come in tight, you know, however they play it. If there's nobody lined up out here, the guy's going to beat him on the corner every time. And then if the guy's here shallow and he comes underneath it, it's still an over-the-top throw. And so this guy knows he's going to go 10, and he needs to get to about 20. And if there's a corner here, he needs to go over top. And the big thing, this guy, he kind of freaks out against a cover 2 type thing, because he sees this guy drop it, and it's really easy to beat that safety. And he drops it, he doesn't realize that he has, you know, he tries to cut it off, and this guy isn't covering, where if he would just beat him deep, there's a hole out here he's going to hit. And the quarterback knows that's where he's going. If the quarterback's in doubt, then he's going to go to the triangle read, and we're going to have 1, 2, and 3. And what we're trying to do is we want a 2-on-1 on somebody. So if we're going to 2-on-1 the corner, we're going to two those two. If we're going to 2-on-1 the Sam Backer, then we're going to use those two. If they do something where Sam Backer jumps this and the corner jumps this, he knows then that if those two guys are seeing, he knows this guy's open. So we get a 3-on-2, real easy read, and this guy right here opens up late. So you can wait for him. You don't have to, even though he gets there quick, you can wait on that throw. So you can take your time and throw that. And then we say peek on this because if there's nobody out here and this guy takes off, we hit him right now. Yeah.
Bruce, on your number 2,
Yeah.
do you, I know like we run crossing routes and we drag, we tell him never to find the open area end to end. Do you guys have him continue?
He only continues if somebody's chasing him. And so yeah, sometimes this guy will be out here with this back.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if he's in a man-to-man and they're chasing him, his next route is to go up here.
Gotcha.
And so sometimes they will get close, but he knows that the minute he crosses that hash, he's getting in his area. And we talk, these are your areas, and you can do whatever you want in your area. But if you start to run into somebody else's area, you better just stop. So the Kentucky match, and this is one of our base plays out of the 4 wide that we run. And then we put it down here in the compressed formation. Shallow cross is another big one. This is the same one where we're trying to get that backer suckered up here, hitting that. And then we're working on this weak side backer over here. Usually, if they have a safety, this corner route is going to take it out. Or if we were running out 4 wide, we get them wide. But this guy's going right now. He runs across the heels of the defensive line, and he wants to get in this flat here. Usually what happens is if there's a will backer here, he usually walls off and runs with this. And this guy runs out, so you have to throw this one quick and hit it, and then he's up the sideline. What ends up happening later on is this will backer stops walling this guy and starts chasing over to here. And we don't worry about Mike because he's usually the type who wants to come up and hit this, so he takes himself out of the picture, and then we sneak in right behind him. The safety can stop that. And we used to run it where he posted, but these two got too close. And then we found out, because we run the corner so much, and this is the type of thing, the safety usually ends up chasing that and jumps it, and then that opens up the middle. Same thing with bomb. If we know a safety's really jumping this route, we'll put him on the post, send him up with bomb. And the same thing, he's going to look to safe. He's going to look over here, read this, come to this, but then he's throwing there. And the only person that ever sees this is this corner, and so he just has to beat that corner beat. Drive is the exact same thing as the shallow cross. It's just they're coming from the same side, and so you end up getting the same thing here. This backer here thinks, oh, here this guy's coming across, and so they end up flying over here to this, and then you come backside on that. And this guy also, when he runs this, if he has a window, he wants to sit in it. So the ones that want to go 10 and square and run across, we tell them they need to throttle down in here, and they can actually come to a complete stop and curl up. Drive bomb, same play. Just coming back to that. Okay, dig, what we do with dig is it's a mixture of the shallow cross and drive, because we're actually getting both those plays put together. We have, and actually our Kentucky play too. We have our shallow cross either way, so technically if we were this guy to this is drive. If you read this shallow crosser to this dig, that's shallow cross. And so we put them there, and for whatever reason, that's the one that opens up now, and we actually hit that one right now, because it probably because it's same thing happens on the Kentucky. He's the one that's going underneath, and so we end up usually doing that read where we throw that to that. So it's almost like the shallow cross, but kind of backwards. And it's the same. Basically, it's still the same concepts. So the quarterback, he knows. He's still reading there. He just has a bunch of different options. And they're all running, it's different guys running the same routes. And so it's a lot like Harold says. We might only run 10 plays, but we run out of different guys running the same play out of different things and out of different formations. This is was the Florida State version of their shallow cross, which is a similar thing, but it's a little different in what you do. And it also kind of looks like the Kentucky without the corner, and he runs and then basically turns around. And we look at this first because that's what's going to open up, but this guy knows that's his play. So when we call the Florida State play, that tight end knows that he's going 10 and turning it around. And what ends up happening is with all this crossing stuff, they leave the middle open. Now this was the big play. You guys saw the championship game with SC in Oklahoma. Norm Chow was running, and Steve Smith would just turn around, and that backer didn't know what was happening, and they just hit him right there in the hole. And it was just a smaller version of this.
Go back to that a minute. If they're sitting in a, like I said, they're sitting in a cover two,
Right.
would you have him go ahead and try and beat the safety? Depending on, like we're doing a lot of read routes now.
Right. This guy?
No, the number 2 receiver.
Yeah.
So a lot of times we'll tell them, okay, if that guy's gonna just rotate or he's just gonna come up and play you, then we're gonna run right by him and go ahead and take it.
We would run other plays. We want to curl on this one.
Okay.
This is the one where we've ran corner so much or post so much that we've got him on his heels, and then we're going to turn around. Because what happens is this backer and this backer, one of two things. They either chase and run into each other, or they split. When you get a lot of crossings and they know it's coming, their thing is to either hit them and try to knock them off their path and not let them do it so they come together, or they play this trade thing. We're going to split, and you got him and I got him. But all they do is they open up, part in the Red Sea. And I've got some film later on. I'll show you on this play. He literally runs in there, turns around, and there's nobody there. They just throw the ball. Whip is pretty much the same thing, But what happens is that we get this guy here who's really just beating us up, or this corner that wants to chase really bad, and then we're going to fake him in and then come back out. And this is pretty much a call thing. We've only got to it once or twice. It's just one of those. It's a lot of. It's just our next option we do. We really have not ever had to go there. Smash game is your high-low read on the corner. Kind of hard out of compressed formation to run this. So motion to back out. And he just runs out there, turns 6 back to 5 and turns around. And then it's the typical, he reads the corner high-low, and we want to throw that the whole way. And we have about this concept, we have four ways to run it, and we run all 4 of them. And you see this every Saturday on TV. Same thing, motion the other way. Now you can have it 2, have it on this side, and then you still have the same type of concept over here of a high-low. Greatest play is if you get these safeties flying over on these corners on the smash, this guy will come up, come back right underneath, and he will run down the middle of the field, and there'll be nobody there. And it's a huge play. It's a setup, though. You got that free safety, and the quarterback does a great job of making that safety go to that cornerback. Bench, quick outs, same thing. You're getting a high-low smash. Just another way to run it. Still the same thing. Is the reading that corner, and he can't cover both of them. Everything's predicated, too, on beating your guy one-on-one. If you can't beat your guy, then you're messing the play up. We're going to get somebody in a bind 2-on-1. And, because there's an outside backer here. And if he can jump underneath that route, then you're not running it right. Or if he can knock you off your route, so you're over here in the middle, then we don't have a 2-on-1. This play is really hard to throw, and it takes a special quarterback to throw this one, because it is a long throw, and if, this guy can trail and do the Deion Sanders and bait you and jump it, and then he's gone for a touchdown. So it's a special one. But if you get a corner that's really good about dropping, and he sees that, it's wide open, and it's an easier pass than the quick flat route because he's actually turned, and he's at a nice angle where you can throw, whereas the flat route, he hasn't got to that turn, and so he's got less space to hit. So the quarterback can throw and get it there. And you can do it timed also. This is the big timed route. Drop back pass, we don't do much of that, but if we have a few, we do the floods. Got the strong flood, so it's a 3-level play. Want to hit the flats right now, and then go to the next level, go up. Some of the guys, they run the other way, they look at the top and then come back down. The thing is, I'll throw this all day, because if they'll give me 5 in the flats, I'll take 5 and march down the field. Usually this guy right here that is running that route is one of our better guys, so he's gonna make yards. So they'll give him the ball in the flats, we'll throw to him all day. The weak flood, which is the same thing we have in the bootleg, same play, just drop it over here. On the weak flood though, we do start off on the deep one because he gets to his route a lot quicker than these guys coming back across. This is if you're familiar with the Norm Chow BYU stuff, this is their Y cross basically. Get some teams, they'll come over on the flood and they'll all start flying, and you can send some guy up the pump here. It's almost like the waggle bomb in the wing tee waggle play. New play out that everybody's running now is the stick. He runs a flat route. We're trying to put a horizontal stretch right here on the strong safety or corner, whoever that is. And he's going to go right now, and if that guy's open, he's going to throw it. We're trying to get him to jump that. And this guy's running a square out, basically trying to wall this guy off the side who thinks he's either going vertical or something. And then he's going to turn out, and we're trying to get a horizontal stretch on either this corner or wheel backer, depending on how they're running the defense. If it's a cover 2, it's a corner. If it's cover 3 and that guy's out here, then it's the sandbacker or wheel backer, whoever's on that side. And then you get out the third one where you put him in motion, and now you get 3-on-2. If you got if they're playing pretty good with this corner's playing, he'll jump the flat, and this wheel backer, sandbacker stays here and covers that. Get rid of that corner, put him up the sideline. and then now you're back to a 2-on-1. And you'll see a lot of this stuff if you've ever read the Coverdale and Robinson books, is pretty much a lot of the same place that they run on their stuff. I think they call this turn. This is the thing that I love doing the most. I put that guy out there, and that guy's good, and they've got to have 2 guys cover him, because if they give me 1, we're throwing to him all night. And the minute they put 2, either they put a corner here and a safety over the top, or they put a corner deep and a backer out here, then I'm playing 10 on 9 over here. And if you've got a kid that can, just throw a few passes, I mean, you could audibilize it. You can just say, you call the pass play, and if there are 2 guys out there, run the ball. If there's 1 guy passing. Either way, it's, you're just, the minute this kid becomes a threat, they're already going to put 1 out there for sure, but if the minute he becomes a threat, and they have to either move half a man by putting somebody there, or 2 men by putting a safety up there, you're winning the number of games. And these are just the quick plays. Quick, we just turn and throw the ball. Corners off deep, throw the ball. Stop route, 6 back to 5. Easiest play they can complete. They're both just looking at each other throw. Bench route, I mean, I show it out here, but it's actually ran from here. And so you can press him, and then you get him in the open field out here. Slant, probably the hardest one to throw, but also the quickest to score. Because if he catches that, he slants it and he's gone. And then definitely the fade. When I was talking earlier about not being able to throw the ball, everybody can throw the fade, and you can make a defense coordinator respect your pass game even without completing the pass. If that guy runs down the field, and your quarterback or whoever throws the ball anywhere near him, and he runs by somebody, complete or not, that D coordinator will get freaked out and think that you have a passing game. And he will move that cornerback, he'll move a safety over, he will do something because there was a threat that guy's going to go yard on him, and he does not want it. And so we'll have times where we actually don't have anybody to throw the ball, especially at our JV level, and we'll just hike it to him, and this kid can throw it 50 yards. And then we'll get a good receiver out there, and we'll just take off. And they'll end up, first thing they do is they'll move the quarterback to 10 yards, and then, anybody can throw the quick route. Anybody can throw a stop route. You can throw a football, you can throw those 2. And the minute he gets at 10, now you have some type of game over here. And then if you can throw the fade and practice it, and it's actually one of the easier ones to practice. We actually have this guy. We hike the ball 1, 2, 3. He throws. On the varsity level, we throw to a spot 35 yards downfield. On the JV level, we throw to a spot 25 yards downfield. And we put a trash can there, and they can sit there and throw to that spot. And then it's this receiver's job to make sure he gets to that spot there. So you can do so many different things with just one wide receiver, and you're forcing them to double cover him. Unbalanced, awesome. We run this all day. We run the fat, or our single wing, which we call fat, and we put the receiver over here. And what happens, there's a corner here, he ends up stopping the play, and we can't account for him. So we run him over, move him over here, he covers him, so we still get the numbers we want inside. But passing to that side is huge, because that guy's, he's not over there to cover, he's usually there to stop the run. That's the guy they put, they'll put their weaker corner. I think he was talking earlier, Jerry was talking earlier how they put everybody out here and they put one guy over here because they run the sweep to the power side. We do the same thing. We're power most of the way. And so we'll go unbalanced and then run all the exact same plays. Actually, I don't have it drawn unbalanced, but it's supposed to be unbalanced. Like that. And then our unbalanced, what we do is we call that fat right there. Actually called double fat because we have 2 backs there. We single fat we call here. And all we do is call over. And then this tight end knows that over he's not eligible. And you could actually also put him over here so you have another eligible. But because these 5 never really move unless we go to our unbalanced stuff, we try not to mess with them too much. You can motion your receiver out, your wing out, and then do the exact same stuff. Actually, I don't have the quick stuff drawn. This is the drop back stuff later. So these are wrong routes. So those routes. You can motion the receiver out. the wing out, and then you still have the receiver and you can throw. And now you're throwing on the strong side, or, you know, you can have the receiver out here, move him out, now you have two receivers. You know, now I have two receivers, and, you know, he can run, he can have two options. This is our drop back game. 10-yard curl. We go 12 back to 10 actually. Run 12 yards, come back to 10, catch the ball, run the dig, run the post, run a corner, run the out, run the switch route. We run the shoot switch route. These are all plays that we have as part of our base drop back series. And, you know, so if you need, probably one of the easiest plays to run if you need, 10 yards is put all these guys in here blocking and then have your receiver go 12 yards back to 10, turn around and throw him a curl. And if he's one-on-one, you know, it's just a basketball game waiting for them to go.
Where do you have your quarterback set up?
He's at 5 yards wrong.
No, but I mean, where does he do like a 2-3 step, 5 step? Where does he roll to? I see you have often you'll have an unbalanced, all your blockers over here. So does he roll this way or how?
Yeah, let me show you. If he's going to run quick, he takes 1 step. If he's going to run the drop back, which he runs 3 step. When it was under center, it was 3 step and 5 step, and then under shotgun, it's 1 and 3. Our pass blocking is actually this. We do a turn protection. And what's funny is that for 15 years, we've always turned left, and they still haven't figured it out. But we always turn left and block right. And so, our pass protection, he just drops straight back. And that's what makes the cup for him. Throw the same thing, drop back on the unbalance, you know, get the threat of the run here and then still run the curl strong side. Same thing, motion the receiver out there and get everything you need out of the drop back. A lot of times this wing might be your best receiver. A lot of times these tight ends are just tackles who, you know, they don't want to play tackle, but you have them play tight end. You know, give them an eligible number and they get a little happy that they actually think they're a skill kid, but they're really just another tackle. Twins, huge one. This is one of our base plays, halfback option. I saw it called HBO forever, and this summer, this winter, I was listening to the guy from Carroll, Texas, and he said halfback option. That was the first time in 10 years I figured out what HBO meant. I just thought it was called, I didn't know why they called it HBO, but halfback option. And really,
Where's the halfback option? No, I mean, I just wondered.
oh, the option? His option is he's run a 5-yard.
Over here, that's the half.
Yeah. He's going to run a 5-yard out or turn around. The only reason he would ever turn around is some teams, their outside backers really love to run to the flats quick. And if that happens, he turns around. Because they'll line up here, and then at the snap of the ball, they'll run all the way out to here. And he'll run right into that route, into that outside backer. And so, and if he's always running a 5-yard out, he kind of runs right into, into the coverage. And so it's like he's got the option to turn around and stop there. It's certain teams, you know going in that it's going to be that way. Or the first time you run it, you run into trouble. And the second time, also happens sometimes you might get a cover 2 team, and the corner will a hard cover 2, and he'll sit and settle, and this guy will run into that route, and he can turn here because this outside backer, he's more worried about him walling. He knows he doesn't have to get to the flats. He's kind of actually got the seam or the curl zone, so he won't jump that route as quick in a hard cover 2 if you ever get that. We tell him peek just in case he does get that hard cover 2, because we can get up the sideline on that. These are just all the smash routes. Here we go with the bench, which was something we ran earlier, just a quick out on the outside, corner on the inside. Still trying to high-low the corner here. Smash, same play. Really great play against cover 2 or a cover 4. This route does not get thrown enough. This is the route everybody wants to throw, but this is the route that will make your money. quarter route. This is actually our favorite play that we run. If we throw 25 passes in the game, the sweep pass or the roll right, and this play we'll run 12 of those 25. Just these two of those plays will be. So depending on what they run. If they run a cover 2, and we know we've got that safety, we'll run, or a man coverage, we'll run this play probably 9 times in the game. And we'll probably hit that, 80% of the time more than this one. That is the last page of that. Any questions on pass play?
How do you find your formation changes right there?
Which one?
Formation changes, like with the twins.
Out of the,
So we're double fat and you went to
yeah, that,
halfback option.
yeah, we just call it twins. So that's, to get multi formation wise, we start off and that's what we call, single. It's just a balanced single wing, it looks like the old UCLA red sandwich. And, or we'll call it single fat, because everything's fat for us. We move that up, and that's called double fat. Now that's originally what fat was for us, but since we were getting multi-thing, we'll move him back there. This kid for us was our passer, and so we moved him back here so we could actually throw. And we called this, crap, I think we called it stud. I don't know. I didn't run it. Did you even do that? And so pretty much we were able to do that. And then we had options where we ran. We called it outside. We moved them out there, and then we do unbalance, so that was over. If we wanted to move one lineman over, we called it under. If we wanted to line 2 linemen over, we called it double under. So that formation will be called double, under, over, outside rep. And so that was a lot of words, so I just called it stupid because the first time we ran it, the coach called me stupid.
I remember that you were saying.
And so my JV coach last year, who ran this full time last year, I never ran this more than once a game at the most, maybe 3-4 times in the season. And the biggest thing is that you gotta have basically the balls to run it. So he ran it 6 times a game. So I've got 20 minutes of stupid runs for him. And they did enough and for whatever reason last year in our school, Mike Jones was the huge music artist, so their album was if he was going to take it and run weak side by himself because he thought it was weak, he would scream out Mike Jones, and then the center would kind of lead. And he scored 6 touchdowns that way and 5 touchdowns that way off this play. One of the things I noticed out of this that was huge is that they started spreading themselves. They would go here and here, and there was this alley right there. And we didn't know if we were going to call the play, but he started seeing it and cutting right up the seam. But yeah, that's basically all it was fat rights, 18 sweep, and that was the play. And then he could take a week if he wanted, And then it got to the point where he ran a couple times and got tackled, so he started getting scared. So the coach started calling me off with the sideline if he saw it and wanted to do it. Because what I had here, I didn't have a real tough runner, but he was really fast, and so he was decent a little bit. He could get intimidated, but he would go outside. And then what you saw when I showed you the first one, that was actually my blocking back, and we moved him back there where we needed the power. So we kind of switched on. Gotta have 2 tailbacks if you're going to run this type of thing and you're not, being multi-faceted on it. All right.
Is that center eligible?
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
And we have that play where we'll sneak in an eligible receiver there to hike that ball and just tell him to take off and run. And the one kid I had 2 years ago, he was a lefty. He would just catch the ball and he would throw this lollipop and this kid would just run underneath it.
Would you have to let the ref know before the game?
Nope.
No.
No?
No, because he's
So he's eligible because that's the end of the line.
He's the end of the line.
Oh, okay.
at the end of the line, so all the sideline judge is looking for is the guy on the line of scrimmage, on the end of the line, if he has an
He's on the
eligible
line.
number or not.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And that ain't even a problem for us.
Yeah.
Don't worry about no numbering. Line up and do it.
Sure, the reason I'm using this is I can actually, have slow down capabilities here with this, so we can, if you see something you like, just let me know. This is our varsity team running it. Like, we pretty much didn't run much pass out of this. This is the roll right, sweep pass. This was the year I was fortunate enough to have the quarterback who can run and throw. He threw for 2,000 and rushed for 1,000 twice. And but he was a special kid. He was actually a running back that could throw. He was a really good running back. Here's the Kentucky play. You know, we look for that corner first. See, they're all tight. This was the year he was a senior, and we started 7 sophomores and a freshman. So we had a pretty much glorified JV team with a real good senior running back. Fade. We get that best receiver. Here we are in the balanced. Everybody blocked. Put it up. Say that was the year he was a real good receiver. We put him out at receiver, and here we're gonna run the bench. Get him real tight. We just give him the ball. Quick stop route. I didn't mean to run this, but we ran it down the goal line and ended up double covering it, so we just lucked out on that one actually. Here's our JV team this year running it, so this is with a freshman who's never played football before. And anybody can learn the fade, he practices it. Oh, I'm sorry, the sophomore first who didn't, this was just somebody who could throw. This was before the freshman was even ready to throw. Here's the freshman. This one out, a little play action. This one just turn and throw to the receiver. That was that unbalanced, you can't see it out there. Then we put the swing into it just to have an option, because he really wasn't doing much. So we put the swing in there just to try to get underneath coverage. And these are all the JV ones that were drops but should have been caught. So you can see kind of what the plays were. This is a corner. Yeah, this is a good one. Oh no, that's the next one. Same thing, he had to beat, just gotta catch it.
What do you use for your camera? That's real clear footage. Is that digital camera?
Yeah, it's a digital camera.
Digital video.
Yeah, so what he's using right now is a Panasonic. Hold on a second. This one right here is great. This one is, you just hate as a coach. Hit you right in the face. The Panasonic, it's a 3 CCD, so it has a lot vivid color than a normal camera. Same thing on that. Just that needle right there. That right there. He.
Coach, looks like, will you have both backs in the back with the hands up?
Yeah. What happened is this kid here was the runner that couldn't throw. He literally couldn't play catch for somebody. And so we would take the wing, or this other back, the blocky back, and moved him back. And they both got their hands up because we still ran a lot of run stuff. Because this wing still was a lead blocker too. And so we've still run everything we had. And all it was is that, so if he didn't have both their hands up so they know, just so they just couldn't figure it out, that we were going to pass. But most of the time when we ran that, we were just passing. Okay, here's the bootleg I was telling you about. He just faked and went, and if he would have gone back 3 yards, you'll notice he actually would have used that ref as a screen. Because if he's back here, this guy also would have came flatter. Because he saw him right now. If you notice, he started here and then started coming upfield. If he would have came flatter, he would have went all the way back over here, and he probably would have outran this guy, or this ref would have blocked him. And what you're going to see, the main thing I wanted you to see is nobody's covering this guy.
Oh, wow.
And that's the main reason I put this one in.
And who was he? He was your backside?
He's a tight end.
The tight end?
Yeah, because it's pretty much, it's our power play that we normally run. And then he bootlegs. So drawing up, this receiver's he's running a corner. He should run a fade, but for whatever reason, these kids, if you tell them to run a fade, they jog it. But if they tell them to run a corner, they'll run it at full speed because they think they're getting the ball. The thing I learned 10 years ago in the passing game. Never have them run a fade because they'll never do it. They'll jog every time. But if you tell them to run a corner or post, they think they're getting it somehow. I don't know what the difference is in their mind with the routes, but they will run that route every time. And then these guys are blocking normal, just like it was thing, and then he's going to drag across, and then we're faking the power there, and then he bootlegs and runs across there. It's almost a spin. It's almost a spin. All right. Now I'm going to show you what. This is our. This here. This is our movement game, which is our roll. And this is out of a trick set. I showed you earlier on how you can run it out of a single wing type set. You could actually run this out of a, you could just shift to trips. You can use it with the tight end. We've used it both ways. Cut forward to the deep out, the corner. There's a dump flat, and then the quarterback run. And this is something we practice every day. We roll and throw. And we had 2 quarterbacks last year, so we ran it with both of them. And hard to believe, but it's easier to run left than it is right. Because it makes them throw across their body, and they have to square up to throw. And they end up throwing basically a better pass. And like when I said earlier, the corner route that we ran, this is the other play we ran. So if we're running 25 times a game, this is what we're running. And if we got a team that let us have the corner, we'll actually run this, 18, 19 times a game. And the thing is, we don't run many trips pass plays, so teams know we're running this. So what you're not seeing is that we're shifting to that trips to try to disguise that. I don't have that on here, just showing the from the snap. Really great play for blitz. Teams that want to blitz up the middle, they stop blitzing because there's nobody there. And it gets us out there and makes it easy for, really good for getting to one hash to the other hash too. If you're a right-handed type team and you start getting stuck on the right hash, this is a real play to get to the other hash.
Coach, is that the La Jolla game?
Yes, that's the way.
I can tell the darkness.
Yeah. They had 15-foot lights on our sideline. And then like this kid who I got coming back, he, as a runner, it makes a whole lot more to the game. He actually takes off and runs. I'm showing the outs right now. We actually, his brother was the quarterback at Inglewood when they went to the state title against, Paso Robles. This is why he's getting recruited. Like Harold said, this makes you a good coach. I coached him how to do this. Okay, here's hitting the corner route out of it. And we actually tell that guy to run the corner. We tell him to get 25, 35 yards downfield, and we want it to be a real long throw. Now that one, he threw to the out, and the guy tipped it up, and the guy in the corner caught it. Great play coming out of the goal line. Can really get you out. Here's hitting the, they don't hit this one enough, actually. They don't dump it off. Actually, we didn't run it, he didn't hit it all, so. Here's the QB running the ball. He loves to tuck it and just go. I coached this move too, that was cool. He thinks he's Vic. Good jump. When he plays Madden, he's always Vic. He's got the Vic shoes. But a lot of what's opening this up is we've hit that pass so many times that they're playing back. Well, you gotta love that one. That was right in front of the coach too, girl. First thing, I went to Long Beach City College, and the first thing he told you is don't stand around the pot. I came from Brethren, small Christian school. We're not used to, any type of stuff. And this kid, oh, the play's over. Oh, shoot, this kid. Oh. And welcome to football. Now there's one where, see, he liked to throw the ball, and then there's one where after that came down to the fourth option, and he took off and ran it. All right, here's the next thing. And this is our normal run game out of our spread. We basically ran a counter and a trap out of it. Rules on trap was, you know who's trapping, so the center covers for him. The trapper traps, everybody else gets upfield.
Nice block up there.
Then we'll go empty and do the same thing. Or with the running back, he'll lead. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. This play here, he missed the handoff. So it ended up, we called it QB follow. He did it twice, actually. It was like the trapper was getting through so far, so the guy after him did. So yeah, he just missed the snap. Counter gap every once in a while. It wasn't a great play for us, but just every once in a while we ran it. The next play we ran is a counter, and that's off that trips that we ran the roll stuff off, and that was our big play. And that was a big carrier for us. Also, it was some way to get the other guy carrying the ball. They would all sit there and, you know, can I get the counter? Can I get the counter? We actually ran this one, I thought we did. So here's the counter. It's an inside reverse to the wing, out of trips. And then we lead with the fullback, coming across the quarterback. So this is a good play. I think we had 6 different guys carry the ball on this play. But this is just a base play that, you know, we run out of spread and we run out of single wing too. And here's our single wing stuff. You'll notice 13's the running back in this, and he didn't play much in the other stuff that we ran, because this was his offense. Run blast, just going right at the gut, here we go. And it's kind of interchangeable. I mean, the 13 got hurt, and so we put another guy back there. And, have 2 or 3 guys, they all learn the spot. And what we're looking for is a hard runner more than anything. This kid just happened to be a hard runner and decent speed. Then he has the option anytime if he has a hole, he can just kick it outside. Counter, we run it to the tailback first. And it's pretty much a weak side power. There's not much of a counter to it. We just call it counter because it ends up looking like a counter. But it's a weak side power and it hits quick. Then hit it to the wing. This is actually the better of the two plays, and which is that same counter that we had earlier. Everything the same, hike it to fullback. Nobody sees he stopped the ball, so it's pretty much like a wedge. Gets up fields. I got one last thing I want to show you guys before we. Last year I talked about the toughness tackling drill that we do, and so I filmed it this year.
Is this Martin and Louie?
No, not the real one.
Oh.
We call it South Central, and it came out, got it started, called it Blood Alley, and so everybody knows that you can't call something Blood Alley, because a lawyer will take you to court and you'll lose all your money. Are you really trying to get blood in that alley? You know, what the lawyer will say. So, which I changed to South Central because I had coached at Whittier for 3 years, and we had a bunch of kids in games, and they were, Coach, if I get out of the game to play football, I gotta walk the gauntlet. I don't want to walk the gauntlet. And you know, it's a typical drill. You know, running back runs through, and two guys hit him. Well, what we did to change it up is that basically we had two guys just not give a shoulder to knock the crap out of them. And so it grew and grew more, so basically everybody had to run through this drill. So now the rules are now is